Good evening, Ram fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Jessica Mendoza.
And I'm Brian Buck. We have breaking news on the CSU football team, as well as recaps of all the action from homecoming weekend. Let's get started.
With breaking news from the CSU football team, redshirt sophomore running back Rashad Body has decided to leave the team. After being suspended from the first half of the CSU bowl game last season and the first 2 games this current season, Body's name is no longer on the CSU football roster. Body scored 4 touchdowns for the Rams in his first year on the field, but since his suspension he hasn't seen much action due to an injury that occurred quickly after his suspension ended. Body told us that he was unhappy with school and football and continued on to say, "I was becoming unmotivated, unfocused, and depressed. I wasn't in love with the sport anymore, and school has always been a problem for me as I grew up with a learning disability. I couldn't focus because of all of the chaos around me, and I finally wanted to put an end to it." Body will also be discontinuing his education at CSU, but plans to stick around Fort Collins. Bobo has made no comment on his name being removed from the roster other than that he is no longer on the team.
Outside of the breaking news, it's been an up-and-down season for the Rams football team, and Saturday was a microcosm of exactly that. The Rams entered the game with a win at their backs and momentum to boot, and used it to surge in the first half, jumping out to a 7-0 lead in under 2 minutes behind a New Mexico fumble forced by Ram linebacker Caleb Smith. KJ Carter-Samuels took just 2 plays to find his #1 target, Preston Williams, in the end zone. Later in the half, the Rams defense forced a turnover on downs with their back to the end zone, and the offense rallied, going 96 yards for a touchdown, capped off by a wild quarterback keeper by Carter-Samuels that had the whole stadium fooled, myself included. The Rams would enter the half up 14-3. The second half flipped the script and New Mexico rallied, scoring a touchdown on their second possession of the half. And the Rams would respond with a field goal, but it wouldn't be enough to hold back the Lobos, who used a 53-yard punt return to set up a touchdown, and following a 2-point conversion that gave UNM a lead of 18-17. With just over 2 minutes to play, Ram kicker Wyatt Bryan had a shot to take the lead with a 17-yard field goal. Bryan would miss the chip shot and leave the stadium speechless, quite a bit upset as well. A big defensive stop for the Rams and strong subsequent drive gave Bryan a second chance at victory, this time win or go home. Bryan would drill the 26-yarder and give the Rams their first walk-off win since homecoming in 2014. Carter-Samuels finished with 311 passing yards, and the Rams defense had 3 sacks and 8 tackles for loss. Safety Jamal Hicks and linebacker Caleb Smith after the game both credited the bye week with CSU's recent success and said that this team is just going to keep getting better.
Taking them losses, losing probably sparked some fire in a lot of people, and then you just start seeing one person working harder, and then the next person started working harder, and then it just started carrying off, and everybody started working harder.
The Boise State Broncos traveled to Moby Arena last Thursday to play the CSU volleyball team, a group of girls coming off of a hot sweep against Air Force the week before. This is a matchup that the Rams really look forward to, and their excitement would guide them to sweep Boise Thursday evening. A little birthday magic gave Paulina Hoger Jensen some momentum as she tallied 11 kills and 2 stuffs on her 22nd birthday. She hit nearly 56% pace, and she was set 45 times and only made 2 errors. Boise knew Brianna Runnels would be a major threat to their defense, and although they tried to serve Runnels to get her out of her rotation, she still put down 12 kills against the Broncos. Kirsty Hillier also added 8 kills, hitting at nearly 47%. CSU hitters were feeding well off of setter Katie Oleksak that night. We saw them giving her praise after almost every kill, and Oleksak put up 40 assists. She had a nice pace for the Rams and read Boise's defense very well, dumping the ball over a few times to end the rally. Boise's outside hitter Sabrin Roberts was difficult to block. She was successful at using CSU's blocks as a tool and also showed off some versatility off the set. Roberts looked very unpredictable with sharp cross and high line ability, topping Runnels with 13 kills. As we've seen before, this Rams team serves aggressive at home. 7 aces for CSU is what head coach Tom Hilbert wants to see more of from now on the road.
We're at home, and that's one thing that's helped us. And I know it's funny, and people, it's the same size court, the same height net and everything, but it's just different when you're on the road, and they think a little bit too much sometimes, and But we're at home and we're getting comfortable, and the whole key now is for these guys to get that feeling and understand what it feels like to be comfortable as an aggressive server. And then we can go do it on the road. It's the same thing.
Hilbert and his team were able to stay at home this weekend, where it was State Pride Day for the volleyball team, as their homecoming matchup fell against the Utah State Aggies. Coming off back-to-back 3-set sweeps, the Ram had the momentum and the talent on Saturday. In their third consecutive sweep, the Rams won their sets by scores of 25-15, 25-12, and 25-12. The Rams padded the stats against the Aggies, tallying 7 blocks and 5 aces as a team. And Polina Hoger-Jensen was far and away the best player on the court for the Rams. She put up a hearty 16 kills and was deadly efficient in doing so, with just 22 attempts and not a single error to follow. Not one to have a dimensional match, she also tallied 5 total blocks. Hoger-Jensen's 16 kills and 727 hitting percentage were both career highs. Katie Oleksak was stellar as usual for the Rams, putting up 45 assists in the 3-set sweep, the second most in a 3-set match in program history. The Rams will need all their momentum as they head down to Albuquerque and the notorious Pitt to face New Mexico this week. Polina Hoger-Jensen was named Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week earlier today. On Thursday, Hoger-Jensen had 11 kills against Boise State and 16 kills against Utah State Saturday. Her combined hitting line on the week was 27 kills on 45 attempts, with just 2 attacking errors, good for a .556 hitting percentage.
Early Saturday morning, a team that forward Zoe Tyson said is gelling great went from teammates to opponents for their first inter-squad scrimmage of the season. The family of the CSU men's basketball team gathered in Moby Arena during the homecoming weekend to get a real first look at this new team under head coach Nico Medved. Transfer guard from Oral Roberts University Chris Martin should have fans very excited to see him take the court officially this season. Martin looked aggressive on both sides of the ball, going up against 6'11" Nico Carvacho and looking eager on defense, while also showcasing his abilities to shoot outside the arc. J.D. Page and Anthony Masonton Bonner got the offense going by moving the ball around, but they really had to look out for Texas Tech transfer Hiron Edwards, who came away with a couple steals and brought more speed and intensity on defense. Carvacho and Zoe Tyson each looked comfortable and good in the paint, driving with strength. A few teachable moments came out of the scrimmage when the whistle was blown on fouls or traveling calls, technical things that seem to be reoccurring in practice. Medved asked the official referees to explain some of the calls to his team, pointing out, hey, they won't listen to me, maybe they'll listen to you. And Medved made sure that his players were paying attention to why the calls were being made, and singled them out if they weren't zoned in. Medved closed out the scrimmage, reminding those in the stands that they've got a lot of work still yet to do, but there's only a few weeks until the season officially begins, and they're all very excited.
The Rams soccer team, whose playing identity has come back and what has become black and white in the past few weeks, headed out west for their first road game of the trip to take on San Jose State on Friday. That identity, a tough physical defense and an inconsistent offense, was exactly how the Rams played the Spartans. Through 60 minutes of the match, the Rams defense hadn't allowed the Spartans a single shot on goal, but their offense sputtered the whole match, only generating 5 total shots. Without a strong offensive push to give the Rams momentum and energy on the road, the Spartans found a crease in the 84th minute, securing a victory late. The final score was a hard-fought 1-0, and head coach Bill Hempen commented after the game about how much fight is in this young soccer team.
It continued in CSU's second trip in California, which brought them to Fresno State to take on the Bulldogs after their harsh loss to San Jose State. Both teams would score in the first half, which is good news for CSU, as they hadn't scored at all in the last 2 games. First goal comes from Emma Chivers of Fresno State. Chivers received the ball from a deep throw-in and fired the ball to the left side of the net, where Hunter Pfeiffer just couldn't make it in time. Unfortunate for the Rams, Allie Murphy-Poletto did find the back of the net, but the goal was taken back after an offsides call had been made. Rams tied it up after Kaylee Lordeman is found by Kaija Orns off the corner kick, and Lordeman ties up the game with a header. The second half was less offensive for CSU, and they couldn't stop Emma Chivers once again, as she would score the second and final goal for the Bulldogs off of a crossfield assist from Elle Avery. The Rams will be back at home this weekend for their final home matches of the season. All right, Ram fans, that's all we have for you right now, but don't go anywhere because up next is Castro's Cut.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome to Castro's Cut. I am Litos Castro, here to give you your rundown of what's to come up in CSU Sports this week. We got a short one coming up for you, but we're still going to have the same amount of fun. So, without further ado, let's get rolling right into it. First, we're going to start off looking at your soccer team. Soccer team first, on Friday, they're going to be hosting UNLV right here at the CSU Soccer Fields. That game is going to be on Friday at 3 in the afternoon. Then, on Sunday, they're going to be having their last home game in the regular season at noon on Sunday against Nevada. That's going to be a fun one. Show your soccer team some love this week, guys, before they go away. And then next, we're going to move on to the volleyball season. Volleyball traveling to Albuquerque to take on New Mexico, have their shot against the Lobos on Thursday. That game is going to be at 7 in the evening. Then they're going to be heading over to Las Vegas to face UNLV as well. That game is going to be on Saturday at 3 in the afternoon. We'll keep you posted on both of those so you don't have a fear of missing out on anything. Then finally, we're going to finish up on the football team. After a huge homecoming weekend, they're going to be headed to face Boise State in Idaho. That game is going to be on Saturday at 7 in the evening. Again, we'll keep you posted so you don't miss out on a single thing. But while we're on the football team, let's take a look at your play of the week. Roll it. Here we have KJ Carter-Samuels bamboozling this Lobos defense, faking the handoff and running it in on the side. The Dirty Dan himself. I got to love any trick play that's done as well as that one. You got to give this football team credit after taking the big win this homecoming weekend. Well, Rams, again, it's short. That's all I have for you. But don't go anywhere because when we come back, the Triple J Pick'em Challenge is coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Life on Mars, Nikola Tesla, Clean Energy, and Frankenstein. It's all part of the Big Think, the third annual Fort Collins Book Festival, October 19th and 20th. More than 35 storytellers, scientists, and writers, including Andy Weir, the best-selling author of The Martian, present free writing workshop, book talks, panel discussions, and more. Information is available at focobookfest.org.
Hello, Ram fans, and welcome back. It is now time for the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. I'm now joined by Tuesday Sports Anchor Jason Ortiz and Thursday Sports Anchor Jared Stratton to break down this week's college football picks. With this week's standing, I am 16 for 25, Jared is 18 for 25, and Jason, after getting none right for last week, he is 14 for 25 in the overall rankings. So here we go. Let's start with the first pick of the week. We have number 22 Mississippi State traveling to Tiger Stadium to take on LSU. So let's start with the big loser here, Jason. Who do you got for this one?
Let's go. Okay, so the game's in Death Valley. I don't know if we trust LSU or if we don't trust LSU because they've just been all over the season. However, game's in Death Valley. Nick Brissett, Joe Burrow, LSU all the way. Go Tigers.
I'd say LSU as well. They're the new top dogs, or should I say top Bulldogs, after they just beat the Bulldogs. They are going to be coming to this game. Death Valley, like you said, Mississippi still hasn't won a game versus ranked teams, so it's going to be an easy game for them. It's going to be a blowout, in my opinion.
Well, coming off last week, you'd think I would try to not pick all the teams Jason picked because it seems like he's got some bad luck going for him. But I actually also picked LSU for all the same reasons you guys did. I feel like LSU just has more weapons, and like you said, they beat Georgia. They beat Georgia by 20, so I think that they're going to be powerful this week.
Well, next we have number 15 Washington and taking on no longer ranked CU. So, Jared, what do you have to say about this one?
Well, I'd like to start off with me, of course. And you guys didn't listen to me last time, and how'd that turn out?
Well, Chenault got hurt, so
well, he did
get hurt.
Yeah, so
without Chenault, that team is absolutely nothing.
Exactly, and that's clearly what I saw in that game. And we have CSU; they're not ranked.
You saw him getting hurt before it happened. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I saw. Okay,
yeah.
But either way, CSU isn't ranked anymore.
CU.
And excuse me, CSU actually was never ranked, but yeah, but CU wasn't ranked anymore. And the last game against Oregon with Washington. Washington played Oregon. They barely lost, but they still outran and outpassed them with all the yards. And they're still, it's hard for me to pick for CU, so I have to pick against them again.
Well, I picked for CU. It was kind of a hard decision for me, but I think this one's going to be close. I did pick CU, although it's kind of like they're starting to get into playing those harder teams now. So it's definitely going to be a lot harder for them, especially with Chenault's injury. But I do have to say that the coaches poll still has them ranked at 25. So if that means anything, there we go.
So yeah, actually going into this week, both teams are injury-ridden. Miles Gaskin went out in the first half against Oregon, which is why Oregon outrushed Washington. And then not early in the third quarter, Salvin Ahmed also went down for Washington. So that's why Washington lost last week in overtime to Oregon. We'll just put that out there. However, Jake Browning, he had a great game. If he gets Miles Gaskin back against CU, they will take this game. So I think I'm going to have to go with Jared this game, and we're going with Washington.
All right, now I might have to change mine now.
Hey, that's the plan. So as long as you guys go somewhere else, I'll be fine this week.
Yeah, go 5 again. All right, moving on. We have the in-state rivalry from East Lansing with number 6 Michigan taking on number 24 Michigan State. Now, do you want to start this one off, Jason?
Well, for my pick, Ryan, just roll the video. So, with my pick, we're going to show this play here from 2016. And, Michigan State is key in this game. So, easy pick here, Michigan State. Go Sparty.
All right, I'm going to start this one off real quick.
You can cut the tape now.
Yeah, let's cut that tape. Let's cut that tape right here and right now. Because let's start thinking about that. You said that was 2016, right?
Yeah.
What's the year right now?
That was John Harbaugh's first year, though. So give him a second.
Sorry, you didn't. That's not a number. It's 2018.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. So it's 2018. Michigan is scoring 38.1 points per game. What's Michigan State scoring? Not that. And we also have Michigan winning 6 straight. They're ranked higher, obviously, because they're clearly better, and it's not 2016.
But Michigan State did just beat Penn State.
Hold on, but Michigan has more points per game, more yards per game, and less yards allowed. They are beating them in every single category, and they're ranked higher. And Jessica can back me up on this probably.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you my prediction here. I'm also going with Michigan. They just beat Wisconsin. It was a really good game. This is actually their 111th matchup for this rival. It's going to be huge. And I see where you're coming from. In a sense, there's always with that rivalry, anything can happen. But I definitely think that Michigan overall is just the better team. They got their big tight end, Zach Gentry. He's a big guy, and he's hard to stop. And then overall, Shea Patterson, he's smart and he's patient. So I think he's going to really help out the team this week.
Michigan's not a bad team, but Michigan State, they're coming off a big win. So
you're
not changing my answer. I'm still going with Michigan State.
Michigan's coming off a big win, too.
They're both coming off big wins.
All right, well, to continue, we have my number 12 Oregon Ducks versus number 25 Washington State. So, Jared, you can start off this one.
All right, with Oregon, it's the first time this season. With Washington State, it was the first time they've been ranked all season. And the Oregon has actually come in this game to underdogs. But I've bet on Oregon before, and I've been right more times than not, and probably more times than Jason has, but I'm going with the Oregon Ducks for this game.
I'm obviously going for my Ducks as well. You guys have heard me say it over and over in this little segment here. I'm a Ducks fan, so I think they're definitely going to win. I actually think they're going to win by a lot. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I think it's going to be a big point gap for this one. We've already talked about Justin Herbert and C.J. Verdell, but Dylan Mitchell over at the wide receiving, he's really starting to look good as a wide receiver. He's really coming out, and he's starting to really beat some guys. So I think that if he gets out there and he can continue being fast and get his hands on the ball, I think it'll be good.
And before you do this real quick, do you have another surprise video to show us here?
No.
Or are you going to actually bring us some stats?
But no, I'm bringing you some stats this time. Gardner Minshew, he's passed for 2,400 yards through 6 games. They're coming off a bye this week. He leads the country in yards passing. So that Oregon defense is going to have to shut down 2 big wide receivers in Tay Martin and Kyle Sweet. So this week, we're going with the Cougars.
He's heated.
And College game day is in Pullman. What's bigger than an upset over a team that just got a good win over Washington? Go Cougs.
I don't know.
I mean,
Oregon's been ranked for a while, and now.
And they just beat Washington. In my opinion, Washington's better than Washington State.
Yep.
I think they can stop their offense.
how many times has Washington State beat Oregon in the last 8 years?
Really about 8
Don't
years.
Trivia quiz me here.
8 in a row, Washington State has won.
We'll see.
How many times has
8 in a
Florida
row
won before Kentucky just won?
Hey, are they in this?
Doesn't matter.
8
You're bringing up past, and we're trying to talk about right now.
This is the
get
current
out of here
stats.
with your 2016
We're talking about the
stuff.
wins
Current
today.
stats. All right, guys, let's talk about CSU traveling to Boise, Idaho to take on Boise State.
I picked CSU here. So I feel like they're finally coming off of a win where they actually have some space to get some momentum. As Bryan's mentioned in the past, they've come off wins and then had to play a really tough team. So I think it'll be really good to see them go to the road this week and hopefully come away with a win. I think that they're right under Boise in the conference. We're both the same record in conference. And I'm pretty sure Boise just beat Wyoming as one of them. They are winless so far this season. So I think it'll be good to see them. Caleb Smith, Jamal Hicks, our defense has really started to stand out and kind of pick it up. So really excited to see that.
I'm going to let Jason go ahead. He's been going against CU so far.
Oh,
CSU?
CSU, excuse me. I can't even.
So this game, Boise opened this game as a slight favorite, 95% chance to win this game. So Brett Rippon, 42nd ranked quarterback for QBR in the FBS. Alexander Mattson, he's averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Defense-wise, CSU is going to have to step up. They're going to have to shut down Rippon and Madison. I see it being a close game, but I don't see CSU stepping up this much to be one of the top-ranked teams in the Mountain West.
Well, I'm picking CSU. Boise State hasn't won a game against, they haven't beat a ranked team so far this season. That's a big issue for me, and so CSU is going to win this game.
All right, well, we're going to see how this weekend's games go. Better luck to you, hopefully, this week, Jason. We're going to maybe hope, maybe not. It's pretty fun to tease you. But stay tuned, Rams, because we will have a live interview and some quick updates on this weekend's hockey games.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
And we're back. Now, we're sorry we didn't have enough time tonight to bring you guys some of the hockey updates or cross country. We've got to get to our interview with John here. But we are joined by John Penland, who did quite well at the Spartan race 2 years ago. Thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you.
Yeah. So finished 19 this year. Pretty impressive. Best finish by someone in your age group. Finished 85th last year. You come into a competition like this. You did pretty decent last year. What's the mindset coming in to improve your race going forward?
So last year I really was focused on improving my result because my mentality wasn't right, because there were a lot of variables I hadn't encountered before. I really wanted to go out and attack the course this year, and I think I really did. I started the race really hard, and I just kind of went out and just said, this is going to hurt, and put everything out there.
I bet it did. I can't imagine running a race like that myself. It sounds pretty grueling. Now, you said you're going to attack the course early. You find yourself early to middle in the race, racing with some of the guys that you watched growing up that made you want to participate in the sport. I mean, you're running this race, you're focused on being that athlete and performing your best, but also you've got your heroes running right next to you. I mean, that's got to be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I really look up to a lot of the racers I race against, and it's really cool to have the opportunity to be coming up in the sport and also being able to be best friends and also compete with everyone I've been looking up to for the last couple of years.
Awesome. Well, it's your second year, so you've got a little bit of experience, right? But you're still one of the youngest guys out there. You've raced before, you kind of know the atmosphere. Is there like a rookie mentality still, or have you kind of adopted into the group yet? Are you one of the guys yet?
This year for me has been a lot about coming out into the scene and kind of establishing myself as one of the top racers in the U.S. And this last race result really kind of put myself in there and said, hey, I'm ready. I can compete with all these guys, even though I've been working to get towards this for the last couple of years.
You've talked about how you came to Colorado and that really helped your racing, the elevation, the mountains in the area, especially the local landscape. Was that a decision you actively made? Hey, I'm going to come to Colorado because I know it'll benefit my racing, or why did you come here?
So CSU has a great biomedical science program, and then also Colorado has access. I have access to all the mountains, elevation, and a lot of aspects of training that would help me improve greatly over the next several years. So that was a factor in my decision-making process.
You mentioned the biomedical sciences major here. It is pretty impressive. I mean, you're racing, you're running all the time, working out. I don't have enough time to work out. That's got to be tough, juggling those two. Biomedical sciences, that can't be easy either, right?
It is tough, but I've found a way to manage my schedule so that I have time to do both. I have all my classes in the morning, so I have enough time to go out and really focus on my training in the afternoon after I get all my schoolwork done for the day.
You set a bar for yourself in this race. You want to finish top 25. I know it's pretty early, but looking towards next season, is that bar going to keep rising?
I think for sure. I'm still looking to improve. I want to get even closer to the top of the field. It's probably going to be top 15, the goal for next year, but I still have to reevaluate and wait for the end of this year to really make that choice.
Awesome. Well, we wish you best of luck. We're with John Penland here, freshman at CSU, who finished 19th overall in the Spartan World Championships this year. Thanks for joining us tonight, John. That's all we have for you tonight, Ram fans, but make sure to follow the CTV Sports Twitter page to stay updated on all the action from this week's sports. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night.